Hello everybody, my name is Phantom, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a very interesting interaction that I discovered today and have been messing with all day. When I first discovered it, I was very interested in the weapon art Carian Retaliation. What this weapon art does is it allows me to parry and deflect spells. It doesn't deflect the spells back, but it absorbs them, and it creates three little Carian glint blades that float around me and shoot out. And while I was watching a compilation of interesting moments like in different Elden Ring streamers' daily things, I found out that it has a very interesting reaction with any of the items that summon the little wraiths, either the Omen Bairn or the Wraith Calling Bell. And that interaction is, if you use it and immediately parry, you can parry your own Wraith and create the three Carian blades. Now this is a pretty cool interaction in of itself, one I did not know about, and one I don't think very many people know about, but it is a reliable way to be able to make these things, so that started making me think, exactly how much damage does this do? Well, if I will come up to this guy and shoot him out, it does about 647 damage. Not bad damage, that's actually pretty good damage, considering, how little there is about it. However, that got me thinking, is there any way to make it stronger? Well, the first thing I wanted to try out was to see if my intelligence alone would affect it. So let me go respec and raise my intelligence really high. Because it's mimicking a spell, so obviously my first thought is maybe the game treats it like a spell. When I came over to test it, shot out the little wraith, parried it, and the swords did more damage. 918 damage based off of just raising my intelligence. But that got me wondering, is it scaling off of the weapon art itself, or is it scaling off of the Wraith Caller Bell? Because the bell scales off of intelligence and faith. Well, the only way to find out would be if I go respec again and I show off how much damage it does with increased faith as well. Now, thanks to my gear, I am currently sitting at 99 intelligence and about 94 faith. So let's see if this changes the numbers at all. Nope, same numbers. So it's not scaling off of the bell. So that got me wondering, if it's not scaling off of the bell, maybe it's scaling off of the shield. So I'm going to take my normal buckler and I'm going to turn it into a magic one. Now that it has scaling off of my intelligence, let's see if it does more damage. Not really. Didn't seem to do too much more. However, what if I level up the shield? Now, I have a plus 25 magic shield, which has a much higher scaling, and the shield, like the actual shield's damage, is increased. So let's see if that changes anything. We were hitting about 930 before this. Let's see how much it does now. Double. So not only does it parry spells, but you can trigger it yourself with the Wraith Calling Bell. And if you actually upgrade the shield and make it magic so that it's scaling off of your intelligence, the Carian blades do increased damage too. Let's see just how far we can take this. So let's go through a couple things that I tested to see whether or not it would also increase the damage. Let's see first if the Graven Mask Talisman, which raises the potency of sorceries, will affect it, because it's a weapon art, not a sorcery, but it's mimicking a sorcery. So maybe it'll work. Nope, that didn't seem to affect it. Next thing to test is, since it's a weapon art, or a skill, I suppose it's called, maybe the Shard of Alexander, which boosts the attack power of skills, will affect it. Nope, that didn't seem to affect it either. So obviously things that increase skill damage don't affect it, and things that increase sorceries don't affect it. However, there's a couple other things we can try. First off being the Blue Dancer Charm. If I strip down to be as low possible, equip load as possible, will this increase the damage at all? Nope, that didn't do anything. What about the tried and true classic Red Feathered Branch Sword? Alright, we've got that set up. Now, almost a 500 damage increase. So using nothing but upgrading your shield and a red feathered branch sword, you can get a very substantial increase of damage. And it costs almost nothing. An interaction that I do want to point out that is kind of useful is the Carian Filigree Crest does decrease the amount of FP it takes to consume the Wraith Calling Bell. Not use it, but consume it. Because if you watch, the cast of the Wraith Calling Bell takes a little bit, and then the parry itself takes a little bit. But using the Filigree Crest, you can reduce the amount. Look at that damage. That's insane. And this is self-activated. You can do this in PvP. You could do this against bosses. I almost want to do an entire run of Elden Ring just using this move to win the game. It really wouldn't be too difficult. That's a lot of damage. There was another one that I wanted to see if it would interact with, and that's Golden Vow. Golden Vow itself is a weapon art that just gives me increased damage, a flat amount of increased damage, and an increase in defenses for me and my nearby party members. It's kind of nice, it's kind of useful, it's one of the things you see 1,000,001 people use to buff. However, it has a very interesting interaction. If you have it on you, your swords deal no damage. I don't know if that's intended or not, but either way it's interesting nonetheless. Either way, that's really all I had to show. I just thought it was kind of cool that you could get it to interact that way. I thought it was nutty that you could parry your own Wraith Calling Bell and to get it in the first place, but finding out that it can scale off of your intelligence by making it a magic buckler or whatever shield you use, that's nuts. However, we started off being able to do about that much damage, and we ended being able to do about this much. I'll do the math post, and I'll have the percent increase being shown right here. You could do a lot of damage with this move. It seems that the game doesn't consider it a spell, and it seems that the game doesn't consider it a skill. However, it takes the scaling of the shield you use into account for the damage of the blades. It does about 2,200 damage as is. What if I change it from scaling with magic to scaling with dex, and I go reallocate all my points from intelligence to dex? Now that I've reallocated all of my points into dex and it's set as keen, let's see if it can still do a really good substantial amount of damage, because it has about a B scaling in dex. Let's find out if it only interacts that way with intelligence or if it interacts that way with any upgrade you do. However, it is important to note that with this weapon art, so yeah, that did a substantially lower amount of damage. I think it only really scales if you put it into magic, and sadly, you can't really put it into anything other than magic, because when you use the Carian Retaliation, magic and cold are the only two things that really offer you anything, and magic has the highest intelligence scaling. So if you are doing an intelligence build and are using this, just pop that Spirit Wraith Calling Bell on, set your shield to actually be magic, and upgrade it. This is probably the only time I'll ever tell you that you should upgrade a shield, because there really is no other reason to upgrade a shield unless you plan on hitting people with it. But yeah, if you liked the video, please give it a like, share this around. This is kind of an interesting interaction that I want to see what people can do with. Maybe there's other interactions that I haven't found out yet. I've only done a little bit of testing in this, and I know for sure on most of my builds that go intelligence, I'm going to use this trick. It's a really cool trick. But if you want to see more content like this in the near future, please subscribe to the channel. I live stream semi-regularly, and I've been releasing videos talking about different interactions and different skills in the game. Hopefully if you liked this, you'll like those too, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios!